Well, good day, guys, and welcome back to the 100 Day Project, 100 days of vlogs. Day 30 something. One of these days I'm going to remember which day it is. And it's another money vlog. So it's been a month since we last did one of these. So we'll do a little bit of an update how much we've spent over the last month on the road. And this will take us from the 18th of February through to the 17th of March, which is when I'm recording the video. Now, it's been a slightly different month for us because we have been doing a little bit of pet sitting, house sitting, which is where I'm recording this from here. And we also spent quite a bit of time over in Portugal, hunkered down at a campsite, video that you would have seen a couple of days ago. So that maybe has a little bit of a reflection on our costs, but I still think good to keep these monthly updates going. So we have, as usual, 6 different categories, and we'll look to see what we spent in each of them over the last month. So fuel, £169. Now that is over half of what we actually spent the previous month, which is not surprising because, as I said, we spent quite a bit of time hunkered down here in pet sits, as well as over in Portugal, in Albufeira. We also didn't have to do the huge big drive from the north as we did last month. So that's not too bad. My eyes are terrible. £169 on fuel. Transport, I think there's only been a couple of tolls. The Portuguese tolls are very interesting. It almost caught us out last time. You have to kind of register your vehicle and then it just automatically picks up the tolls. The tolls, they're quite frequent, especially around the Algarve area, but they're actually quite cheap, working out sort of €1-2 a time. So I think in total we spent €7 on tolls. Groceries. It's quite funny whenever we were going through the sort of little itemised area or the little itemised list of our groceries. It was like £4 here, £7 here, £6 here, £4 here, £7 here. I think that was quite a lot of pastel de natas and quite a lot of bread and things like that. We like to go into the supermarkets pretty much on a daily basis. But groceries over the last month, £395. Now that is 50 quid more expensive than last month, but again, I think that's partly to do with the fact that we were at the campsite. There was a Pingo Dulce, quite close to the campsite, and so we were down there almost on a daily basis, picking up little treats. But I don't think it's too bad. The guts of 400 quid, £395 for groceries for 2 people over the last month. Social and experiences. Quite a lot actually. 300 quid. And again, you can get sort of sucked in a little bit. So you're in Spain, you're in Portugal, and you're heading out for a coffee, or you're heading out maybe for a beer, and it's like €1-2 a time, and that's quite cheap. But if you do that quite a lot, especially those coffees, they soon add up. Still probably less than we would have spent back in Ireland, because of course a night out in Ireland is pretty damn expensive these days. Maybe a little bit too much on the whole social side of things. And this was one of the things that we were a little bit concerned about coming down to Spain and Portugal. The fact that you can get a little bit sucked into the whole holiday vibe a little bit too much. I love the coffees, especially the Portuguese coffees as well. But as I say, a coffee and a pastel de nata might only be €1.50, but have too many of those in a week and it soon adds up. So 300 quid on groceries. And just to put a little bit of context around that, we would generally eat mostly sort of pasta dishes, rice dishes, salads, avoiding too much red meat, a little bit of fish. And if we were to buy chicken, we would normally make that last over a couple of days. Quite interesting actually, salmon remains quite expensive down in Spain and Portugal, but we'd still sort of eat a reasonable amount of salmon and things like that. We're still picking through the dregs of some of the food that we brought down from the UK. So I'm sure as that really does run out over the next month, and as we start to maybe make different plans, we might even see our groceries start to increase a little bit. But 300 quid over the last 4 weeks. And then camping. Now, 171 quid. But that was 7 nights in Albufeira, I think, and a couple of other campsites along the way, plus I think the 24-hour parking in Nerja as well. The Albufeira camping was so worth the money. I think it worked out something like €15 or something a night for the 2 of us, including electric. absolutely brilliant. We will go back there at some point. It's a wonderful place just to hang out. Unfortunately, as you will have seen, I wasn't well for the majority of it, but it was just nice still to hang out there. Hopefully, campsites will reduce a little bit over the next couple of months as we sort of maybe do a little bit more wild camping. But 171 quid on camping over the last 4 weeks. And then finally, cash. Now in Spain, we get our cash from the Unicaja, because that doesn't charge any commission rates. And so we have got £220 out in cash. Now, I don't believe all of that has been spent at the moment, but that's what we've got out, and that's what we've kind of ticked off from our budget. And then we'd use the cash for sort of little sort of small items, maybe if we are heading out for coffee or laundry or various bits and pieces like that. Obviously, because we've been both here at the house sit over the last couple of weeks a few times, and then at a stationery at Albufeira campsite, we've actually been able to save quite a lot of money not having to do laundries, because laundry does actually add up. You can work out sort of maybe €15 or so a time, so do that over the course of 4 weeks, and it can be 50-60 quid just for laundry. So it's quite nice when you come to places like this, or you're able to do hand washing at the Albufeira campsite and save a little bit of money there, which clearly we then spent on the cake. And that brings us to a grand total from the 18th of February to the 17th of March, £1,262, which is actually 200 quid cheaper than last month, which is quite good. And I think we would like to try to keep our budget in and around the 1,200 quid mark per month. Now, that is going to fluctuate from time to time as we maybe do other bits and pieces and maybe do other experiences and things like that. But 1,262 quid for 2 people living full-time in a camper van over the last 4 weeks in Spain and Portugal. I don't think we could do that at home. I don't think we could live for that price living at home. So big thumbs up from that perspective. So then wrapping things up, since we left on the 18th of January, right the way through now to the 17th of March, so 2 months, we have spent a total of 2,667 quid. The big hitter there is obviously groceries at 737 quid. Then social and experiences, 530 quid. We'll have to rein that in a little bit. Time to make our own coffees, I think. And then fuel at £487. We've had 480 quid cash out. Again, not quite sure what we're spending that on. Maybe Nicola's got a little secret supply of pastel de natas somewhere. And then camping, £261. And finally transport, £172. But £2,667, 2 months, 2 people, living in a camper van, travelling through France, Spain and Portugal. Right guys, well that's another monthly budget update done and dusted, and another day of 100 days of vlogs. Again, day 30 something or other. And I guess I'm going to go back, enjoy this little chalky bicky, and I guess we'll catch up again tomorrow. I'm off to find out what Nicola spent all that cash on. Where's her secret supply of pastel de natas? See you tomorrow.